Hello YouTube, this is Stewie here from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel, here with a deck profile of Master Rule 5 DDDs. As Master Rule 5 has come into play, DDDs have gained a massive buff with fusions, XCs, and synchros being allowed to be summoned freely onto the field without having to use a link marker. So let's go over the deck and see what happens. First off, we have 3 copies of DD's Sub on Kepler. He allows you on normal summon or special summon to search for a contract card from your deck, or a dark contract from your deck, which is usually going to be dark contract with the gate to allow you for another search. Very useful card. The next card in the deck is DD's Savant Copernicus. I play 3 of it. It is the Foolish Burial of the deck. It allows you to bury a DD or Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard on normal or special summon. The next card in the deck is the main Fusion Summon mechanic, which is DD Swirl Slime, allowing you to Fusion Summon from your hand using cards in your hand, including DD Swirl Slime, to allow you to Fusion Summon a monster. Most of the time, what you're going to be summoning is DD Flame King Genghis, the original. That is what you're going to be using in some of the combos, which I will show in a bit. Next, we have 3 copies of DD Necro Slime. Necro Slime is a very useful card and basically has the same effect has a differing effect from Swirl Slime, where it banishes this card and any other cards from your graveyard to fusion summon a monster. Next, we have 3 copies of DDD Oblivion Abyss King Ragnarok. Ragnarok is very useful because it allows you to summon as a pendulum scale effect, it allows you to summon a DD monster when another DD monster is special summoned to the field by paying 1,000 life points. And that is the main thing you're going to use if you want to resummon things onto the board. It's easy to put this onto the scale with DD Abyss King Gilgamesh, which I will go over in a bit as to how useful it is, but it is a very useful pendulum scale card that you're going to use. Next, we have 3 copies of DD Lamia. Lamia is the tuner of the deck, the main tuner. Special summoning it by either sending a DD or Dark Contract card from the field or hand to the graveyard to special summon it to the field. It banishes itself afterwards, or you use it as a target for Needle Fiber when Needle Fiber is summoned to summon Lamia to the field. Just going into level 8 Synchros, which is your mainstay in the deck for DD Lamia to go into. DD Lamia is also useful for going into Crystron Halka Fibrax, since it is a tuner monster. Next, we play as our last 3 is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We do not want our opponent to be going and doing something with a monster that allows them to play cards. We just don't want them to have a big outstanding board on turn 1, so that our turn 2 would suck greatly from it. Next, I play 2 copies of DD7 Thomas. DD7 Thomas is useful in the Pendulum scale because it allows you to grab a face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, which is very useful. You also use it as a summonable monster that allows you to bring out a level 8 DDD from your deck, which allows the rank 8 play. The level 8 DDD you bring out to the field is negated, but at the same time it just allows you for rank 8 spam, and it's good for that. Next, we play 2 DD Vice Typhon. Vice Typhon has a graveyard effect when it was sent to the graveyard. On the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it and something else to fusion summon a monster. Very useful. You don't use it for its other effect, which allows you to summon a level 7. It's not useful in any regard. Next, the new card in the deck that we play is 2 copies of DDD Chaos King Apocalypse. What he allows you to do in the Pendulum scale, which is why you use him, to banish 2 DD monsters from your graveyard to special summon it to the field, which allows you, since it's level 7, you make into to level 8 Synchros. That's the main thing you want to use this card for. Last but certainly not least, I play 1 copy of DD Ghost. Extremely useful tuner. You can summon it off of Needle Fiber. It's a level 2, so if you summon Small Genghis, which is DDD Flame King Genghis, you can make a level 8 Synchro. And in addition, when it's banished from the graveyard, you can in essence, bring back one of your banished DD monsters to the graveyard, which is very useful. Next, we're on to the spells. So for the main one-ofs, we play 1-for-1 to try to get either Lamia or Kepler onto the board. Foolish Burial, because you can always use a DD monster in your graveyard. And Monster Reborn, because it's always good to have access to your extra deck monsters, which you will be funneling through on your first turn. It's good to have access to being able to bring back monsters from your graveyard. Next, we play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. All of your monsters are dark, so you have easy access to banishing 1 monster and drawing 2 cards, one of the best draw cards for the deck. Next, we play 3 Contract with the Gate. It allows you to search for a DD monster from your deck to your hand but then every single one of your own standby phases, you take 1,000 life points of damage. That is the only drawback to it, but you don't see that drawback coming up too often as much. Then we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. We just don't want our opponents using hand traps to break our boards. That's the simple reason why I played it. On to the extra deck. For our XZ's monsters, we play 1 number 38 Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. He is extremely useful because it allows you to negate a spell or trap card and add it to his XZ's material. Extremely useful. Then we play DDD Dawn King Kali Yuga because it allows you to, in essence, on a turn 2 play, turn off all of your opponent's effects, and all cards' effects on the field are turned off for the turn, which allows you to attack for game. Very, very useful card. Next, we have the fusion monsters. I play 2 DDD Flame King Genghis and 2 DDD Flame King High Genghis. DDD Flame King Genghis' effect is that when you special summon another DD monster to the field, you can special summon a DD monster to the board from your graveyard. The same effect goes for High King Genghis. High King Genghis, on the other hand, on your turn can negate a spell or trap card, which is very useful if you have opponents who are going to put up cards like Mirror Force, effect negation, or any spell card they would use on your turn, like Super Polymerization. It negates as well. It doesn't negate it completely. They still get to use the effect, which that's why Super Poly is very harsh for this deck. So on to our synchros. We have a lot of synchros in this deck. So first is our Needle Fiber target, which is Formula Synchron. You want to use Needle Fiber in conjunction with this Formula Synchron to use your level 6 DDD Flame King Genghis and make the level 8, which is in here, which is Borreload Savage Dragon. Very useful card. You equip Needle Fiber to it, and it gives you 2 negates on your board. Very, very useful card. So let's put all this back. The next card is Odd Eye's Meteor Burst Dragon. It's a very useful card because it allows you to special summon a card from your Pendulum Zone. Good card for that. It allows you to summon from your Pendulum Zone usually a Ragnarok, which would be very useful to get something onto the board again and continue and extend your plays. Next is Gust King Alexander. Another extension. He allows you, if a DD monster is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower DD monster from your graveyard, which is extremely useful because you can still continue and bring back Lamia, which allows you to go into a level 8 synchro, which is extremely useful. DDD Cursed King Siegfried is another spell and trap negation. It allows you to negate 1 spell or trap for the remainder of the turn, which is extremely useful for most boards. It's very likely that you'll have this on your ending board. Next is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. One of your main go-to level 8 synchros. Negates a monster effect once per turn. 3,000 body on the board. Very good monster for that. And that's what you usually have. So that's all the synchros for the deck. Let's move on to the Link monsters. We have 1 copy of Cross Sheep. I very much rarely go into this because it doesn't really extend your plays outside of if you have a fusion monster linked to it, you can special summon another monster from your graveyard, which is extremely useful. The next two cards are the most useful Link monsters. DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh allows you to set scales by paying 1,000 life points, and you're locked to DDD monsters for the rest of the turn. So I would say one major tip that most DDD players would give is that you will most likely go into most of the things you need on your board before going into this and locking yourself. So you want to get all of your plays out, get most of your non-DDD monsters onto the board, and if you want an extender, DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh is the usual extender. Last but certainly not least, as already mentioned, is Crystron Halka Fibrax. Summon a tuner onto your special summon a tuner from your deck to the board once it's summoned. Also tagging out on your opponent's main phase to bring out, in this case, the usual suspect, which is Formula Synchron, allowing you to synchro summon on your opponent's turn by using Formula Synchron's effect, and going into Borreload Savage Dragon being the main thing you go with. So that is basically the deck. If you guys liked this video, please leave a like. Also comment if you have any additional comments for the deck as well. So I would like to thank you for watching this video, and have a good one.